Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from the 40 Principles of the Religion, 40 فصول الدين by Imam Al-Ghazali رحمه الله ونفعنا بعلوم في الدارين. And though we have read a paragraph or two from the subtitle Methods for Treating the Self Against Backbiting, just simply to reconnect what we have read with the with the rest of the discussion. Let's go back to the beginning. Treating the self in order to stop it from backbiting requires that a person reflect on the transmitted threat about it in his statement, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Backbiting is surely faster in destroying the good deeds of the slave than fire when it consumes dry wood. And we said that it has been attributed to Hassan Basri, and that we have two different versions even. أسرع في دين الرجل أسرع في الحسنات, that it will destroy one's religion, and the second one, it will destroy one's good deeds. The good deeds will be transferred to the account of whoever is the victim of your backbiting, etc. And if you don't have hasanat, you'll get his sayyat transferred to your account. It is transmitted that the good deeds of the backbiter are transferred to the record of the one who was wronged through backbiting. The backbiter will look at the paucity of his good deeds and the abundance of his backbiting, and will shortly end up bankrupt. Then a person should reflect on his own faults. If there is any fault in him, he should be busy with himself and no other, even if he has only committed a minor sin. For he knows that the harm done to him by his own minor sin is greater than that done to him by another's major sin. If there is no fault in him, then he should know that his ignorance of his own faults, if the greatest of all faults, then he should know that his ignorance of his own faults is the greatest of all faults. Definitely, ignorance is, deliberately avoiding knowledge, deliberately remaining in the area of ignorance could be a grave sin. When is a human being devoid of fault? If he is devoid of it, then he should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instead of backbiting. For truly, slandering people is like eating the flesh of a corpse. And in the Quran, أحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه. It's also in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. And eating the flesh of a corpse is from the greatest of all faults, so he should be aware of it. Whenever his tongue proceeds to backbite, he should seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness. Go to the one whom he was backbiting and say, I have wronged you, please pardon me. If he does not run into him, then he should increase his praise of him, increase his prayers for him, and increase his good deeds, so that if some of them are carried over to the record of the wronged, as it is the recompense of backbiting, what is sufficient for him will remain. We have reached in the last time a reading to this particular point. The third element is disputing and arguing. And this is really al-mira wal-mujadala. I just remember that Imam Al-Ghazali, rahimahullah, when he visited Hebron al-Khalil, the Ibrahimi mosque, which is the Israeli occupation divided really the mosque into two different parts after the massacre that took place by Baruch Goldstein when he mowed down the Muslim worshippers. About 64% of the Ibrahimi mosque is taken away. Hundreds of times the adhan, the call for prayer, was prevented, and this is ongoing. And 10 days of the year, Muslims are not allowed at all to enter the Ibrahimi mosque, even the part that is with them. So when he visited the Ibrahimi mosque, Imam Al-Ghazali pledged three things. One of them is never to argue with anyone, never to debate anyone. And of course, one would understand this as the fear of being on one's own side rather than on the side of truth. So the third element is disputing and arguing. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever abandons disputing while he is right, a home is built for him in the highest part of paradise. Whoever abandons it while he is wrong, a home is built for him on the outskirts of paradise. And it appears that the chain of narrators in it's not that strong, it's daif, it's weak. And the next hadith also is daif, though the meaning could be definitely okay. This is because it is more difficult for the person who is right to abandon making his point. He ﷺ also said, the slave does not perfect his faith until he leaves off disputing, even though he is right. We said that this is a weak chain of narrators. The definition of disputing is to oppose another speech by pointing out the mistakes in it. Whoever explicitly or implicitly, whether explicitly or implicitly, disputation is motivated by excessive pride in displaying superiority. It is caused by either malign offhandedness or the wickedness of being confrontational that is found in one's nature and looks forward to belittling and overcoming another. Disputing and arguing are a means of strengthening these two filthy and destructive characteristics. The necessary course of action is for a person to affirm whatever he hears that is right and be quiet about whatever he hears that is a mistake, unless it were in regards to mentioning a beneficial religious point that would be listened to coming from him. In that case, he should remind the other with gentleness, not harshness. The fourth element is joking. Too much joking, too much of it, increases laughter, causes the heart to die, provokes malice, and does away with dignity and gravity. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Verily, a man will speak with the word to make those sitting with him laugh and therefore drop further than Pleiades." This hadith is, there's a similar text. إن العبد لا يتكلم بالكلمة مما يتبين فيها يزل بها إلى النار أبعد ما بين المشرق والمغرب. So the slave would utter a word, but he does not really pay attention to it. His foot will basically slip uh, into hellfire further than the distance between the east and the west, and this would be a hadith that is narrated by both Al-Bukhari and Muslim. He also said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, "Do not dispute with your brother, nor always joke with him." The chain of narrators include the Layth bin Abi Salim, and he is weak. And of course, that means that he also weakens uh, the whole chain of narrators as a unit, as a whole. And judging from the hadith and regardless of the weak ones, because they could still send a sound message. No excess. Do not understand that this means if you smile, if you laugh every now and then, that you're committing a sin. But at the same time, the other extreme would be like, it's just like simply don't make it a sad life. And the opposite is don't make it all jokes and all laughs. It might be also a sign of depression. Might be those who joke and all the time. It might indicate a serious issue. Really. Know that there is no harm in a little bit of it sometimes. And this is Imam Al-Ghazali continuing his commentary, especially with women and children, in order to make them feel good. Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam did that. However, he said, "I most certainly joke around, but I say nothing but the truth." And of course, there are several traditions, uh, and regardless, the hadith is okay. One version is Hasan and one version is Sahih. And precisely regulating that is difficult for other than him. It has been narrated that he once raced Lady Aisha, radiallahu anha. So he competed with her running, and he once said, okay, there is another part to this hadith that he told, because he raced her twice. The first time she won, the second time he won. He told her this is for that, and at that time she gained weight the second time. Then he once said to an elderly woman, the chain of narrators is weak, but the content is definitely sound, inshallah. Old women do not enter paradise. Uh, First of all, it's not a hadith. It's ضعيف. And the second point is people are resurrected and they would enter paradise or hellfire in their youth form, youngish. Uh, so they will not remain old in paradise, as Imam Al-Ghazali comments. لا تبقى عجوزا في الجنة. It's not لا تبقى عجوز في الجنة. This would empty the Jannah of all people. لا تبقى عجوزا في الجنة. So no elderly woman will remain in. I mean, they will not enter really the Jannah. لا تدخل الجنة عجوز. He once said, the Prophet ﷺ, to a little boy, يا أبا عمير ما فعل النغير. This is a hadith narrated by Al-Bukhari and Muslim. And the little boy was Anas, wallahu alam. And he asked him about the little bird. So he told him, "O Abu Umair, what did the sparrow do?" Okay. The sparrow was a chick that the little boy used to play with. He ﷺ once said to Suhaib while he was eating some dates, "You eat dates while one of your eyes is sore?" Suhaib said, "I only eat with my other half." And Allah's Messenger ﷺ laughed. There is no harm in the likes of this kind of joking, on the condition that it is not taken as a habit. Going back to eating with the other side, the other half. With the other jaw, if you will. Of course, it's not, both of them will be moving, but it's a metaphor. The fifth ailment is praising, as has become the habit of people and poets whenever visiting decent people from the sons of this world, and has become the habit of storytellers, for they praise any fool who attends their gatherings. There are 6 ailments in regarding to praising. 4 of them are in the one who praises, and 2 of them, so 4 of them are in the one who praises, and 2 of them in the one who is praised. As for the one who praises, the first ailment in him is that he goes to extremes, and thus mentions about a person sometimes that is not in him. Fake news, fabricated, and is thereby a liar. The second is that he might show love towards someone that he does not really feel, and thus is hypocritical and two-faced. The third is that he says that he does not really know, and thus is speculating, such as if he were to say, "Indeed, so and so is just and pious," or something else concerning what he does not really know. A man once praised another man in front of Allah's Messenger, ﷺ, so he said, "Woe to you, you have cut your companion's neck." If one of you must praise his brother, then let him say, I believe that so and so is like such and such. Yet I praise no one over Allah. Allah will honor him if he really thought that the person was like that. This is narrated by both Al-Bukhari and Muslim. The fourth is that he delights through it. The one who is praised, who perhaps is a wrongdoer, and thus is disobedient by putting joy in his heart. The Prophet ﷺ said, Indeed, Allah is angered when an open sinner is praised. Wallah subhanahu wa ta'ala a'lam about this, the chain of narrators. Then Al-Hasan radiallahu anh said, Whoever prays for the longevity of an open sinner has light for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be disobeyed. Because the more years that this, more days even that the sinner lives, is going to be more sin. The openly sinful wrongdoer should be censored so that this desire for wrongdoing and sin is abated. As for the one who is praised, one of the ailments in him is for pride or self-admiration to occur within him, which are both destructive. For this reason, Allah's Messenger ﷺ said, You have cut your companion's neck, part of the sound tradition that was mentioned earlier. The second is that he becomes happy with it, dwells on his deeds, and becomes pleased with himself. Allah's Messenger ﷺ said, If a man were to threaten another man with a sharpened knife, it would be better for him than praising him to his face. And this is without really a chain of narrators at all, so it cannot be a hadith. But the idea is that one should not really praise people. I mean, it's except if one ends that by saying "Wala yuzaki Allah hada" or something like that. It's still going to influence the person who's being praised, unless she is already done with these things. If the praise is secure from these ailments in the one who praises and the one who is praised, then there is no harm in it, and it might even be recommended. An example will be, inshallah, the talk about the faith of Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, that had the faith of Bakr been weighed against the faith of all people, he would outweigh them. والله سبحانه وتعالى وأعلم. If the faith of Bakr was weighed with the faith of the world, his faith would outweigh it. He also said, if I had not been sent, indeed, you would have been Umar. He praised many of his companions, وسلم, as he knew that doing so would increase their zeal and not cause self-admiration in them. It is the right course of action for the one who is praised to think deeply about the seriousness of his final works, the subtleties of ostentation, and his evil deeds, and to recollect the inner flows that he knows about himself. Just like the notion of al-muhasibi, يحاسب نفسه, you hold yourself accountable, especially his thoughts and inner dialogue, that if only the one praising him knew, he would cease from praising him. He should show a dislike for praise and hate in his heart. The Prophet ﷺ alluded to this with his statement, throw dust in the face of the one who flatters excessively. It is narrated by Muslim. It's a sound tradition. Someone said when he was praised, O Allah, this slave of yours has sought to get close to me through your disdain, and with you as my witness I disdain him. Ali radiallahu anh said when he was praised, O Allah, forgive me for what they do not know. Do not take me to task regarding what they say, and make me better than what they think. Thus, inshallah, we reach the end of the second principle. بإذن الله عز وجل, God willing, we'll deal with anger tomorrow, the third principle. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.